to fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. A plan has been uncovered, one that on the surface is bad enough, but in this day and age of technology and the need to be connected, it is in fact nothing short, in my mind, of potential censorship. Putting it simply, and without much fuss, it seems that 57 Genders Trudeau has been planning to silence rural Ontarians. What they are planning to do is to take away frequencies allocated to rural Canadians right now and reallocate them elsewhere. That's bad enough, but what they're planning to do with them, it is very simple and disturbing. They are planning to reuse the frequencies in large urban conurbations like Ottawa, Toronto, etc., etc. The result will be, for them, new frequencies to allocate for the upcoming arrival of 5G, allowing these areas only to have state-of-the-art connectivity for driverless cars and all manner of interconnected systems that will use 5G. But worse than that, they're taking away existing services that rural Canadians rely on more and more as local facilities close up shop, literally. That will result in Canadians leaving the area who have chosen to live in the area and have to move back to the sprawling urban suburbs. Those who choose to stay, quite simply, will be disconnected and, quite frankly, disenfranchised. They will, for all intents and purposes, be disconnected from the rest of digital Canada and the world, as many have only one source of internet provider. Here's just part of the piece that talks about it in great detail. This is just a clip from it, and the links will be on my site. It's from recorder.ca. The proposal now being considered by Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada would take broadband spectrum used by rural wireless providers and auction it off for 5G wireless that would be used mainly in big cities. With 5G, the urban providers could offer enhanced wireless that could accommodate such innovations as self-driving cars. The piece goes on to say, there are no other terrestrial broadband alternatives available for residents in these areas, and we have no hope or expectation that the reallocation of the 3500 spectrum for 5G would provide broadband services to all the residents at any time in the near future, based on past experience. And the article continues. That's just part of the piece. The links will be on my site, as I say. Now, for some people, they will say this is alarmist, but it is in fact, and you need to look this up, Agenda 2030 in action by controlling where you live, how you live, where you work, what you're taught, what you're told, how you're told it. This is a systematic, slow process that, as the name suggests, will not happen overnight, but it will gradually impede the way you live your lives. Let's analyse that briefly, because I want this to be quite short, because I want you to go to my website, aradio.wordpress.com, and check out Agenda 2030 yourself and do your own research. But let's just analyse it briefly. In this day and age, you are relying more and more on tech to survive and thrive. Depriving you and your family will in fact put pressure on you to move where? Into urban car mines. Once you are there, they control how you live by such means as smart meters and that determine the power that you use and how you use it. Look at the fridges they produce these days. That's just one example. By moving you are controlled where you work, no longer where you wanted to be. We already know that children are increasingly being indoctrinated in schools. More and more adults are finding this out themselves by what their children tell them. And now adults are finding out what children now believe about their country, they live, what they live, where they live, and the very air they breathe. Many, but not all of us, know that certainly in Canada the mainstream media is controlled by the left-wing liberal elite. Now they seek to control how we receive that information. Case in point, this very article. As I say, this is systematic, slow process that, as the name suggests, will not happen overnight, but will gradually impede the way you live your lives. It sounds alarmist, I know, but do your own homework. This is not tinfoil hat stuff. It's real and happening right now. If you live in a rural area, contact your MP and see if he knows anything about this. Also your MPP. Now this is happening in my province, Ontario. But if you're listening outside of my province, check your MP and your MPP and see if you're under threat. My guess is yes. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab and email. You can now find us on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a Twist and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio, that's EHRADIO, A Radio, and please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.